Hello, everybody, and welcome to Week 5 of the Rising Major League. I am your colorcaster for the evening, Lombax Pieboy, and I am joined by Rukter as your play-by-play, here to see DNA versus University of Virginia. How's it going, Rukter?
Oh, spectacular right now, Lombax. This is going to be a fantastic game for Week 5 of the RML. We have DNA versus University of Virginia. These are two of our top teams, so we are looking forward to some high-octane stuff this evening.
Exactly. And this is both teams we have cast a number of times here, so we're going to get to see a bit of a repeat picks from them. I'm having an issue with my overlay here. Just bear with me as we are already in Champion Select.
Currently banning away the Zac. We are looking for Jarvan potentially to be a little bit of a contested pick here. We also have Niles playing fairly aggressive laners as Echo will be banned out against him. Potentially Yasuo on the table still, but that might get banned out as well. Timmy, fantastic on that Victor pick. Really nice wave clear on that champion as well. He's looking for that back timing to secure the extra abilities on his and wants to try and really corral the map into his favor. Some kid as well going up against King Georgie will be fantastic, as these are two of our top end AD carries. We've seen King Georgie play spectacularly on Caitlyn already, and some kid had a mammoth game on Callista, absolutely shredding through the enemy team.
Seems the overlay does not quite fit.
All right, so we do have...
I have it set up now. Position it over. All right. You're in Champion Select now. So, as usual, should introduce the teams as well. On the blue side this evening we have DNA, Suit Up Bro in the top lane, Kind Jungle coming in the jungle, Niles in the mid lane, King Georgie, who saw a monster performance out of last week, in the bottom lane with Elaine.
Yes, and on University of Virginia, we do have JC Prestige, Hanism in the jungle, IR to be mid lane, Some Kid and Indicarniv going for bottom and support. We do see that Jarvan pick up right now. We've seen also the Sejuani, so tanky front lines being selected here. Also, Indicarniv will be playing the Lulu right now, so that is a really nice peel for the backline.
Yeah, exactly, and it meshes very well with the hyperscaling ADCs that are quite popular in the meta currently. I expect to see a little bit of a shift in that, though, with how much Ardent Sensor has been nerfed. I guess DNA trying to prove me a little bit wrong, though, as they lock in Karma and Caitlyn for a little bit of that lane dominance.
Yeah, King Georgie and Lane really looking to secure the early lane phase here. They have a very punishing bot lane. We'll see who has to answer that. We do have Xayah up available. Also, Callista has a nice early game as well, so maybe they'll have to look to match the early aggression that Caitlyn can certainly put in. And with Karma there as well, played by Lane, that will be very strong and contentious lane.
Yeah, Gragas, the final pickup there, assuming to be in the top lane. I can't see any Gragas mid lanes here. Getting away Galio as well to try and give him a little bit more favorable matchup potentially.
Exactly. Galio, having been changed on that Pax, had to have a little bit of a hot fix as he was doing so much damage right now. Had to scale that back a little bit, but still a very potent pick.
At this point, I expect it to still be a fairly tanky pickup for most teams. Yes, you do get quite a bit of damage from the ability power builds that you can go, but I don't think it provides nearly as much to a coordinated team with the hot fix, where that does reduce his damage quite drastically.
And yeah, University of Virginia certainly have a meta that they work around, as we have seen just Prestige play that Jarvan, and we've also got Gragas secured on Hanism. So this is something that they're very familiar with. They've clearly practiced this comp a number of times and are looking to just reinforce that potentially with the Varus pickup here for an initial engage and just damage for the backline to be very punishing against this tank of Sejuani.
Exactly. And the Varus is the pickup in the AD carry there. The AD carry pool was a little bit pinched, as they did leave it for the second rotation. They'd already banned away Kog'Maw themselves, and DNA took the opportunity to take away the Tristana and Twitch, which means you do have to fall back to the Varus, which is more of one of those tertiary picks.
I did kind of hope to see the Yasuo pick up for Niles, but it is going to be the Azir. Really nice wave clear as well. This is potentially winning lanes here for DNA. They're looking to secure the early game and then just have that tank frontline scale up into the game.
The one issue, if you did decide to go for it, is you might be a little bit low on the ability power damage. Plus, you do open it up to be counterpicked in the mid lane with that final pick from University of Virginia. Syndra going to be the final pickup, actually. That is a fairly easy matchup into Azir. You can both wave clear quite easily and then try and affect the other lanes with some roaming.
Yeah, with the nerf to Azir's ranges as well, Syndra can be quite punishing. So we're looking for IR Timmy really to be quite explosive in this lane. Look for Hanizm to come in and really get the kills up with the unleashed power coming out of IR Timmy.
There are your team comps. We have both of them with quite heavy team fighting comps. A little bit of advantage in the bottom lane early for DNA with that Caitlyn Karma. Going to be able to get the shove in early against the Lulu and Varus. Going to look to try and take towers and then group up with the Azir. And they should be able to shove down towers pretty quickly.
Yeah, I agree with you, Lombex. I'm liking the comp coming out of DNA a little bit more favorably. JC Prestige will have to have really good engagements on that with Hanizm as well, just to secure any sort of advantage they can in the fights, potentially picking up Azir or Caitlyn without them being able to deal damage. Because with that front line of the Maokai and Sejuani, if they can scale into the game with the armor items, slow the attack speed of Varus and really get on top of him, enable that IR Timmy can't get to the backline of Niles and King Georgie, they can really look to set these team fights properly and excel through them.
I think in general, though, University of Virginia has a much harder composition to have success on. You have the scaling AD carry in Varus with the support Lulu. They're just going to look to try and get through the laning phase. Your top lane matchup is Jarvan into Maokai, which, yes, is somewhat an advantage, but eventually you're just going to get to a point where Maokai just heals up. You can't really split push against him because he'll just sit there and wave clear the waves. Syndra into Azir is a fairly wave clear reliant matchup unless you do manage to get a really nice gank off from Hanizm, which is what I'm going to be looking for here. He needs to be the one going around the map, getting both his bot lane into a position where they can go even with the Caitlyn and to get IR Timmy ahead of Niles so he can get advantages for the rest of the map.
Yeah, with the nerfs to Ardent Sensor, do we expect Winter's Rage Blade coming out of some kids or potentially another item to supplement what the Ardent Sensor provided?
I think the Gwynzow's Rage Blade is still viable. It definitely is going to be a later spike than it used to be, though, as Inder Karnav, if he buys the Ardent Sensor first item, I think is just incorrect at this point. All it really gives, once it's fully stacked, is about the stats of a recurve bow, which that's not worth a whole lot when you really compare it to the grand scheme of things. The on-hit damage is pretty lackluster. So if he is picking one up, it shouldn't be until like second or third item where you should be prioritizing things like the Redemption, Mikhail's, Locket, over top of that. Because there is so much engage on the side of DNA as well, I expect the Mikhail's to be one of those priority pickups for him.
Yeah, exactly. With so much MR as well, you could maybe see it on Thieves and Holy Grail on Incarnate. Maybe unlikely, but we'll watch out for that on the build path. We'll see if that chalice gets picked up.
If you are going for multiple mana regen items, I don't think it's necessarily bad, but we'll have to see what kind of build Incarnate actually goes for.
Yeah, again, we do see lane going for the Ignite, so really looking to provide a lot of pressure in this laning phase, try and get King Georgie ahead, trying to get those early towers down that Caitlyn is now known for in the meta, rotate them around the map. JC Prestige will struggle in lane clear against that if he gets swapped on fairly early on in the game.
And something to take note of as well is that Caitlyn is buffed from Worlds, and we saw last week just how effective it can be with King Georgie demolishing the bottom lane. What was it, like 3 minutes in, and they had the bottom lane tower to half health or something like that? They just repeatedly shoved in these waves to a Kog'Maw lane, which is somewhat similar in style to the Varus early, and couldn't really have any response to it. So Hanism is going to have to be on point if they want to keep that tower alive long enough to start getting the scaling going for their bottom lane.
Yeah, definitely. So looking forward to this game, guys. This will be DNA versus UVA Week 5. University of Virginia will be on the red team. Blue team will be DNA. These are the top 2 teams of our league right now. So thoroughly looking forward to this, and we will split the game, see who wins, and looking forward to the outcome, as these are the 2 top teams fighting for the top spot in our league right now.
I'm paused at 6 seconds.
I'm apparently not even loaded into the game. Oh wow, okay.
Oh, I will wait for you then. It's hard to cast a game without your play-by-play, unfortunately. I say unfortunately, how could I ever cast without you, Rookter?
Let's go back. Okay, alright, I'm paused at 6, thank you.
Alright. Let's go in 3, 2, 1, go. And as we load into the Rift here, leave your predictions in the chat. Let us know who you think is going to walk away with the win here. Personally, looking at these 2 comps here, I definitely have to favor DNA, simply because it is a lower barrier of execution, and we saw them already deliver on a similar composition to this last week, just by destroying the enemy bottom lane.
Yeah, you really get the sense that they are looking to play around this Caitlyn early, scale up with the tanks, really try and be robust in these team fights.
Fairly standard start as well. Lane's a little bit late, but it shouldn't make a difference.
Yeah, both of the junglers are hovering around the top side of the map, so potentially looking either for their blue or raptors respectively.
Yeah, and this does sort of signal that you're looking to head towards that bottom lane for an early gank. Greg is probably starting with those raptors, means he'll get a slight experience advantage over the Sejuani. He's going to walk in and drop a ward though, so they will know that he's starting up there.
Yeah, Hanism does need to be careful. Will get spotted out by that. Also, the does give freedom for the bot lane to both play for that level 2 advantage very early on in the game. Now we'll see how that goes. We do have a hell of arrows already skilled up for some kid, so he's just looking to push out and secure whatever he can.
Exactly. And it will be already King Georgie starting with the poke instantly before minions get there. This will be a very hard lane for them. They're already hard shoving it in. This is exactly what Lane and King Georgie are going to look to do this entire laning phase. Continuously shove the waves, get damage on the turrets, so then you can rotate to another lane and get advantages there.
I mean, Inner Flame level 1, level 2 is so impressive from lane right now. And it really is just enabling them to push this lane in. Gonna get the CS lead hopefully as well. Just try and corral the minions in. They're definitely gonna get level 2 first off this push.
Exactly. Some kid trying to trade a little bit of damage back. Another thing to note as well, Indrakarnive is on Lulu, which yes does provide the shields for your AD carry, but is one of the lowest health and resistance supports in the game. So her early game will definitely be a little bit more vulnerable than some of the others.
Yeah, certainly. I'm just looking around mid lane as well. A little bit of trading there, but not too much there. Just happy farming up in this early game. So all the pressure is around the spot side of King Georgie in lane. Whether or not they can really grasp an advantage in this spot lane right now. Both ADCs have gone for Dorian's shield, so they are just looking to sustain up against any poke that the ADs or opposing supports do provide against them.
Yeah, and lane has actually opted for the Spell Thief's Edge here in the bottom lane as well, I'm noticing. This is a...
Kind Jungle potentially looking to take the red buff away from UVA. Is going to get spotted out. Hanism is also here. Out of mana though right now, so is in a little bit of trouble. This is going to get contested. I think the Kind Jungle is going to look to stay around for this right now. Yeah, also got the pressure from the bot lane.
The bottom lane can't actually make its way up. Niles has got the shove in mid lane. He's making his way down. Nothing gonna come of it. It looks like they both just back off the blue buff. There's no reason to fight over it. Pseudopro super low in this top lane as well. JC Prestige really getting a good advantage as he gets shoved in the tower.
Oh, it takes a tower shot on the way back though. That will trade the corrupting pot. So one more available for JC Prestige. So So the health bars will even out if he decides to spot that. Kind Jungle actually looking to go onto high Timmy right now. Gonna get the passive block as well, forcing the flash away, but that flash is gonna get answered by Kind Jungle. Gonna pick that up now. Niles is in there as well. Get a little bit of a piercing arrow coming out from some kid, just trying to see what he can create. But nothing too much. Lane again, just trying to harass them back to tower. This gives Caitlyn free time in the bot lane. Kind Georgie taking advantage of this. Got a wave up and farm already onto some kids.
Exactly, and Timmy trying to avoid the stun there from Kind Jungle actually uses the cleanse ever so slightly too early, and it follows him after the flash, which then allows Kind Jungle to get the auto attack he'd already prepped off, that extra damage, and just follows it up with the flash to secure that first blood.
Yeah, getting the permafrost down really quickly there, meaning that he's just able to secure that kill with his own flash. Definitely worth trading that for Timmy, as he did burn cleanse in the process as well.
Yeah, and they managed to secure the blue buff as well, which is another advantage for them. Denying that from the Gragas will make his early clear a little bit worse and set him behind in experience.
Yeah, this does all stem from the bot lane here. Kind, Georgie, and some kid trading blows for blows right now. Mana bars going very low here for DNA, so the push will slowly stall. Intercardum and some kid weathering the storm quite well. Are down in farm as a result. Caitlyn can back for a BF sword.
Exactly, that's the big thing here. Looking at the gold, there's already 1,300 on King Georgie. This is the perfect time for him to recall. They'll probably shove in one more wave and then look to get that back so they can get an item advantage and continue shoving.
Got another inner flame here by Lane as well. Potentially push that cannon way back into the tower. Create a nice back timing for them as well. They won't get denied too much for that.
And they just cleared these waves so quickly as well with that empowered inner flame. Lane able to set the minions up so that all it takes is the one built over Peacemaker to kill them. They're actually opting to state as well.
I think they just won the tower right now, as it is already down to only 900 health remaining on that structure. 6 minutes into the game. This is really impressive. Kind Jungle definitely staying around the bot side. He knows where he needs to be on the map. Stop Hannesm from interrupting in this 2v2 right now.
They're gonna try for it right now.
Tower.
Yeah, they're going for the tower right now, but they managed to clear the wave in time. Nothing's going to come of it quite yet, but this next wave they should be able to pick it up unless Hannesm can do something about it.
Yeah, I really like Kind Jungle's pathing right now. JC Bestrange actually trying to look to roam mid lane, has his characters available, just drops the ward and backs out. He has a really nice farm lead actually against Suit Up Pro. Is favoured in this matchup as both have backed 4 items, got alongside and a couple of cloth armors there for the Maokai. So Suit Up Pro just trying to survive this laning phase as much as possible, pick up as much farm as he can.
Yeah, and this is really all he has to do because he will just get to this point where JC Prestige trade won't matter. He has the Grasp of the Undying as well, so he'll be able to heal up like an extreme amount in the later game, both due to his own passive and that extra healing he gets from that.
Oh, both junglers showing so much focus bot side right now as the tower's almost down, just to a sliver, 120 health left on this structure. And Kind Jungle and Hannesm are just forced to stay bot as they don't want anyone to just fall for their life for this tower right now. And Kind Jungle just wants to secure this objective for the team. I think they'll do it on this wave though, as the University of Virginia having to back away. This will be first tower over to DNA, 8 minutes of the game.
Yeah, and this is unfortunate as well because Hannesm did end up leeching a lot of XP from his bottom lane. So you actually see an XP advantage for King Georgie and lane. Kind Jungle was actually staying away from the minions and just providing the pressure rather than taking that XP. And huge buy on the
massive trade in the middle though as the Emperor's Divide comes out. To me, he's very low right now. Flashes forwards. Doesn't quite take down Niles for the trade there. Fantastic outplay by him. Also has a substantial CS lead in the mid.
Wasn't quite expecting that fight there. They were both semi-healthy at the start of that, and Timmy a little bit low on mana, so I expected him actually to back off, but Niles showing his mastery of Azir here. Knows he can go for the kill.
Yeah, with that combat spell of barrier, actually, that is a really nice play, just to be able to survive that unleashed power and secure the kill for himself. Trying to get the Infernal Drake, this is a little bit risky, as JC Prestige is down here. Kai Juggle in a little bit of
he
trouble.
misses the flying drag.
This might gonna go down. Drag it over to JP Prestige. That'll be the Infernal going over to University of Virginia. So really nice roam from him.
Yeah, that's a misplay just on the part of DNA. Karma sitting up in this top lane from lane here. He should have been down helping with that dragon if they were going to look for it. They have no real vision control and nothing to back him up. But you have to respond to the lane swap. So Kind Jungle just in the wrong place at the wrong time trying to take it. Huge purchase as well from King Georgie on that first recall. He has a full static shift to the Berserker's Greaves and Longsword of some kid.
Yeah, if you can get that to crit, that's an extra 140 damage on your auto attack right now. That is so much harass, and also lane presence, lane pushing power. That's what King Georgie wants right now, just to be able to secure yet another tower. 10 minutes into the game, they are down Infernal right now, but they certainly have the presence in the lanes.
The Infernal shouldn't matter in the end if they can keep this push up, because they will get enough of a gold advantage to snowball the game before
Artemi flashes forward, tries to get the unleashed power, doesn't quite have the damage to secure the kill there, but certainly boots Niles out of lane.
And that's something that you have to be a little bit worried about with a Syndra. She has so much burst just on her ultimate, the outplay button if you will. It's kind of scary to think that she almost one-shot Niles from half health with not even a full item completed yet.
A nice couple of pokes is going to respond with the teleport right now, but JC Prestige is already here. Sudapro teleporting in, actually tanking the tower now. JC Prestige not looking to go too much forward as the ultimate comes out of Kind Jungle. Now he's looking to increase the fight, but up in the top lane again, this tower is taking a heavy barrage.
And they're just continuously laying this poke into the enemy bottom lane. Some kid down to half health as well as Inder Karnive. There's not a whole lot they can do.
Flash forward from Sudapro. He's looking for Artemi. He gets the arcane smash back, and Niles will pick up the kill.
Very nice there from him. He's definitely looking to set up plays for his team. Starting to hit up these item breakpoints as well for him. He has the... actually, fighting the top lane potentially.
Oh, some kid gets solo from the poke there by Kind Jungle and King Georgie. Niles here as well means that this is a 4v3. ADC is solo, actually getting pushed off the tower from Kind Jungle right here. Hanazum has to retreat as well. This tower will probably fall in the next wave.
Yeah, and that's nice of Niles and Kind Jungle to come up. It means that they can secure it from half health here and already rotate towards the mid lane to start securing another.
Hanazum is on the right side of the tracks, just trying to secure what he can of the jungle right now, as this is the time that you can push up the vision for DNA right here. They are looking to secure the rift as well. If they can do that, they can look to surge it down mid, take that third tower, and really try and secure objectives around the map.
Yeah, and my favorite part about all of this is that Sudapro actually is already almost completed his Righteous Glory, which means they can focus down these towers and look for engages much more easily. Fight around the rift.
Kind Jungle's so low, he's got no mana available. Some kid trying to secure that will, and on the top lane, Artemi gonna get taken down by Niles right there in the back of the fight. Kind Georgie's taken on some kid, he's gonna fall. Wild Growth comes out, tries to flash away, trying to get down Niles. Barrier comes out as well, won't quite secure that, coming up for Indicarnative. Now he's got the blue buff. King Georgie has to run away as Hannisan's looking for it, misses the body slam though.
The shield!
That's going to come in the top lane as well. They're fighting in the bottom lane. Sudapro just barely surviving against JC Prestige. Tries to get the heal there, coming out from his passive and just surviving.
Yeah, the re-engage there with the Cataclysm. I don't think he was quite expecting that burst damage out of Sudapro, but he does have the Bramble Vest completed now, so extended trades with the Maokai will end up being in Maokai's favor simply because of that added damage he gets from it. Kind Jungle again as well, making a mistake around an important objective. First it was the Infernal Dragon, and now it's the Rift Herald. He's given both of them over to the enemy team. I'm hoping that University of Virginia can actually make good use of this. They're down 2 turrets to none right now. So if they can take something like the mid lane tower, they could look to get the game a little bit back in their control.
DNA are really trying to snowball this game right now as they're struggling with the neutral objectives, losing the dragon early on, and just missing the fight on the Rift Herald, getting picked up by some kid there, which means that our stun
Holy
comes
crap,
onto King
damn.
Georgie, has to come away from that with the net. This is a scary point for IR Timmy right now as he's got so much damage available.
Another
Almost
stun.
finished the Morenonomicon, looking for it. King Georgie gonna go down to Unleash Power.
And he's repeatedly landing these stuns onto King Georgie. You can't really do that now. With the completed Fiendish Codex, he has a little bit more CDR. He lands the stun again, and your ultimate's going to deal more than half his health easily.
Yeah, this gives them priority in the mid lane. They're looking to push. Nars is there to wave clear if he can, but
Oh,
gets
the stun short.
Isn't coming out onto some kid. That's going to force him to back away. We've already got the Rift Herald in the mid lane as well. That means they're looking for the structure. Minion wave's gone, but the Rift Herald will tank up the tower. Massive.
The ultimate back in.
Coming out by some kid. Now they're looking to go. Timmy's gonna fall. This is a good fight for DNA right now as they're battling back. JC Penny cataclysms into the fight. Secures the kill on two. Now Incarnate gets stunned up under the tower as well from the Glacial Prism. And moving forward again. This is a one fight for DNA.
Yeah, extremely nice out of them. It started off a bit wonky. Kind Jungle just barely short there. Tries to stop the channel of the Rift Herald with his ultimate. If he had landed that, that would have been extremely useful for them as they completely deny the advantage that University of Virginia got from that. But Niles making the hero play, insecting 3 people back into the turret there with his Emperor's Divide, sets up his team to win that fight.
Yeah, that was massive just to draw out the fight, allowing the damage to come through. King Georgie needs to be careful as he doesn't want to take another Unleashed Power from Artimi, but a 1 and 5 Syndra getting a little bit less scary now. Does have the farm to compete with that, but 6-2 on Niles is having a mammoth game, getting a solo kill in lane, and now just providing this damage for the team.
Yeah, and another stun lands onto him actually. Whoa.
That is half health on Niles right now. That is very aggressive.
You say the Cinder is
coming out
behind.
from 2-up mode. Now they're looking to come to teleport a little bit wayward, a little bit too far from that ward, not able to find anything.
Yeah, they had a ward on top of it, so it's easy enough for them to back off. With that 4-second channel, you can really have a lot of time to react to it if you have communication up. And you say the Cinder is behind, but I'm repeatedly seeing her chunk people to half health with a combo. It's happening to Suit Up Row again as well, who has no MR currently.
Yeah, having finished that Rise of Scoring, Shady Corruption actually lands onto him. They're trying to burst down the tank they have. That'll be some kid picking up the first kill. Nice is looking to maybe go onto Artemi. Excellent Emperor's Divide to pick up some kid. Now he's looking to go forward into Cardiff under the line of fire. Artemi comes back, will get instantly shredded there by Niles and Lane. Now they're looking to regress. Hannism is on the fence right now. They're trying to disengage from the fight. Ignite goes down to Hannism. Lane trying to charge through, going to get slowed up by the barrel though, and that'll be the disengage. Oh, wait, hey, in the jungle here. JC Penergy having to run away from the wall, but Glacial Prison comes out, trying to get slowed there, can't quite follow through, and he's trying to run away, but this will be Blue Buff over to DNA.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what happened there. Hanism, I didn't see him actually throw it out, so he must have missed it or actually used it incorrectly at some point. But the explosive cask is down, so he has no way to actually knock Niles back into his team after he secures that kill onto some kid with another really impressive insect there, using the Emperor's Divide to single him out and get the kill. They do trade 1-for-1 in the end, but the priority in the top lane means that they get it down super low, and another advantage for DNA off of that because of it.
I mean, University of Virginia have some really nice vision around the jungle, but they're just playing ARAM right now. They are playing picks in the mid lane, and they seem to be going over to DNA right now, as they have excelled into a 4k gold lead right now. They're trying to go into this mid game with compassion, and they have picked up the Cloud Grave on the back of that.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, with both Caitlyn and Azir, you're really able to just clear out these waves instantly and rotate somewhere else on the map. So they have a little bit of a disadvantage where they can just play to the lanes they want as long as they set them up prior. They are looking to push into the mid lane here.
As more AM start, Artemi may be looking for something, but flash forward from Suabro, trying to bust out Artemi, will that'll fall to Niles. In the backside, explosive cast coming forward. JC Penny is in the backline, trying to pick up Niles with a cataclysm. Excellent Emperor's Divide to reset the fight. Kind Jungle very, very low, going to get picked up by JC Penny. King Georgie now having to flash away from the re-engagement of Hanism. Some kid charging forward now. They pick up Kai Georgie, and they're going forward. JC Prestige trying to get out to lane. That'll be flashed away from, and that'll be the fight.
Very nice engage onto the backline from JC Prestige there. Singles out the important carries and manages to pick up some kills. Looked like it would have been a bad fight in the end with Artemi dropping so early there. Another nice engage from Sudapro, but they just weren't able to follow it up a little bit too deep.
Yeah, Hadders maybe on the side trying to pick up lane. Lane not going to be savvy to that, but the tower will fall in mid. This is the objectives going over now to University of Virginia as they have equalized out the gold. They've got a few shutdowns. We do now have a Banshee's Veil picked up for Niles as that'll probably be needed. And yeah. King Georgie doesn't really have the items right now as he's sort of just struggling to spike, slow down on the farm as well as they have been playing more of this ARAM style. And so a little bit behind on the curve, trying to pick up that Infinity Edge.
Yeah, if you are looking to go for those Shurima shuffles as well, the Banshee's Veil is definitely super advantageous. And they do manage to pick up that tower in the mid lane. They're going to instantly rotate towards the top lane here. It's already been set up by King Georgie previously and is super low. Red buff stolen away by Khan Jungle. If they can pick up this tower here, they should be able to set up waves in the bottom lane and then go for the Baron with the vision control they can amass in the red side jungle of University of Virginia.
Yeah, Sudapro probably tanky enough to just trade with JC Penny, just try to survive in this lane matchup. Is getting pushed in right now, but it's not really matters. It's all about the Baron pressure right now that the two teams can create.
It's JC Prestige, by the way.
JC Prestige?
That's like the third or fourth time you said it today.
Sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm good.
You must be a frequent visitor of the store, I'm guessing.
Nope. Just said it last week, stuck in my head. JC Prestige is the top laner. 2-0-3 on him right now. He has played very nicely. Had some good cataclysms just to re-engage the fights on the side lane. They're looking to pick up Nars right now.
Yeah, could be potentially caught out. Does manage to get away from the stun. And they are just looking to try and control this vision now on the top side here. If they can get this tower down in the top lane, it means that they have the ability to walk extremely deep into this red side jungle and take full control of the Baron area. Ultimate does miss.
Yeah, Glacial Prism just gonna miss out there onto some kid. They are looking to get this top tower though.
The zoning ultimate, if you will.
You see what traps up on the side. Hannism gonna have to run back to his team. He doesn't want to explosive cast forward. Niles is now on the front line, actually gonna get stunned. Unleashed Power comes out and he will get absolutely obliterated from the fight. That is 2 kills now over to University of Virginia. Sudapro is on the firing line, has to try and run away, but he won't have the pressure. And this is gonna be Baron potentially picked up for University of Virginia.
King Georgie is pushing the top lane so he can try and equalize potentially with some towers. Another fantastic stun out of Artemi though, picking up 2 there. So much damage from his ultimate. He's just able to melt through Niles. Nothing he can really do in response to that. Even uses the barrier and still drops.
Yeah, Lane looking for something, but it's actually just going to get slowed up. He's running into the Baron pit right now. He's in the arms of the enemy, and University of Virginia will take an exit kill. Tower does fall in the top lane to the split push of King Georgie, but resetting on the map. Talk me through it.
They are still a little bit down in gold, but that doesn't even matter now. 23 minutes in, you get the first Baron. This is a huge advantage for them. They can try and equalize these towers, and that standing gold that is available means it will put them into the lead. I'd love for them to set up something like a 1-3-1 now. You can put Syndra in a side lane. Nobody can really walk up close to her, and she will just one-shot them if she lands a good stun. Some kid looking to take the dragon.
Some kid here actually alone, trying to get Kind Jungle out of the pit. They will secure the Ocean Drake for themselves. That goes over to DNA.
They are sort of doing a 1-4 here in the bottom lane and top lane. They already have that first tier 1 tower down in the middle lane, so they're just going to look to pick up all the outers here.
Look at the size of this minion wave Lombax. This is absolutely mammoth that they're just charging down, gets a stun onto the front line of Sudapro. They're going for Indicative, but he wilds growth out. Now Sudapro is on the front line, tanking up the damage. Gonna go down to Sunken. Chain of Corruption landing, not quite getting Kind Jungle, but they've gone back in. Empress Divide tried to reset the fight, but it's not gonna happen. University of Virginia on the rampage right now. Couple of nice pot shots coming in from Kind Georgie, but he has to run away. Flashes fast, and Hanizm's now trying to get back onto the back line. To be a little bit low as well. They don't really have the tankiness for this, as they have pushed a little bit too far. Flash off by King Georgie right now, trying to get ace in the hole. Not going to come out as some kid blocks the shot.
Yeah, very nice fight as well again from University of Virginia. They do drop a couple kills on the back end. They're staying a little bit too long. The big reason for this is King Georgie is just sitting on this backline and doing everything he can to keep his team in this, repeatedly putting down traps in the proper location. Hanizm stepped on, what was it, 2 or 3 traps trying to get both to King Georgie and away, then flashes onto IR Timmy at the end there trying to secure that final kill and just about gets it. They are going to get a little shove in the bottom lane, but I don't expect them to actually pick anything up here.
Actually get the stun out onto King Georgie, and he will fall to the Unleashed power there. Really nice play, Martibi, just to pick him out of the bush.
Yeah, and this is the thing you have to be careful of now. You are a little bit longer range as Caitlyn, but if you get picked off by one of those stuns, IR Timmy will just be able to single you out now with that completed Leandries and the additional magic penetration.
Yeah, having chosen for the Ninja Tabby means that he just doesn't have that MR available if he did go for the Merc Treads. We do see them on the majority of the team from the tanks.
Rylai's is completed now for Niles, so he will be able to...
Sorry, Train of Corruption coming up. I think that's just going to be a reset with the Redemption.
Yeah, Guinzao's completed as well for some kids, so if he can continue to fire away autos in these fights, he will have a significant amount of damage with the added procs he will get on his Blade of the Rune King. And Niles as well with the Rylai's in these fights, if they can continue to kite back, he can provide some of the peel for King Georgie with that.
Yeah, exactly. I like the Adaptive Helm pickup by Hanizm right now. There's another stand lands onto King Georgie. Cataclysm down as well. Barry's been procs. He is going low there, trying to regress onto Niles. He has to flash out of the fight as Artemi's so deep, tries to pick up the kill. Hanizm going to secure that onto King Georgie. Now Niles has to run away from Hanizm. JC Prestige trying to get into the fight as well. They collapse for University of Virginia as they are together a little bit more lane on the backside. Now they're trying to look to see who lands. Irify not going to land. Sudapro on the front line, just trying to kite backwards.
Niles taking a red buff on the backside instead of pushing the top lane there. A little bit of an interesting choice. The big story of that team fight was Niles actually missing his Emperor's Divide on anyone as they look for another engage.
Oh, King Georgie's going to get stabbed up by the Permafrost. Sudapro also providing the CC. He will fall to Niles. What can they get? They've got minions in the mid, Lombax.
Yeah, this is going to be potentially the mid lane inhibitor. Some kid has healed up though, and he's here. He's going to look to try and clear this wave. Stun on Niles!
Niles comes up with a stun. King George Jungle has to run away. Sudapro now tanking the tower. He's on the wrong side of the fence, has to flash over into the main map right now. He is taking so much damage. Some kid putting in all of the auto attacks. Gonna pick that up. Maybe he's gone a little bit too far. Kind Jungle there to support his top laner. Sudapro gonna live.
And again, another clutch stun out of IR Timmy. If they hadn't landed that stun onto Niles there, they probably would have lost that inhibitor. Down to actually, what is that, 900 health, so a couple more autos from the mid laner, and that would have gone down easily for DNA. But IR Timmy just does not relent with the Syndra. He might not have the best KDA, but he's certainly making up for it in these picks. I guess at the end of the day, that's sort of what matters as well. KDA, as long as you're getting the kills onto the right targets, that's what matters. And he is definitely doing that, trying to single out King Georgie and Niles in each of these fights.
Yeah, King Georgie has the triple threat here for triple crit, going for that rapid cannon fire. third item. Also got the Zeke's Convergence, a little bit of a new item that's come into the meta since the downfall of Unsensor that has been picked up by Indicarniv.
Yeah, especially on Karma as well, this is sort of abusable because you do have such a low cooldown on your ultimate, especially in these team fights. You can pretty much permanently keep that active procced, as it is based on whenever you use your ultimate. It gives that additional damage and slow to your AD carry.
So when you land spells and abilities on Karma, you do get that ultimate reduction on that Inspire mantra, just trying to get it down. And with this reset of the fight, they are looking for Baron that's going to be spawning in 30 seconds. Also got the Dragon, that is just a cloud right now, so it's all about that Baron pressure.
Yeah, Rooter, and with this Baron coming up soon as well, you're going to hopefully be able to pick up a final item spike, potentially for Syndra. Yes, does finish that Void Staff, so now you have 3 items on all your carries. Not quite a completed third one for JC Prestige, but he is looking to go more towards this tank build now with the Warden's Mail picked up. So with the 3 completed items, you can look to contest around this Baron and hopefully pick it up for yourselves. With that second one, they should be able to take down a couple inhibitors. Another stun does land.
Cloud Drake actually soloed there by Niles as he's able to rejoin the fight. Actually gonna TP back maybe.
He does
also,
have a bear.
The bottom wave is... Yeah, the bottom wave is actually pushing against UVA, so they do need to look around that, but fight potentially around the Baron, as it is all about the vision control right now. UVA trying to push into the river.
And this is the thing, as soon as somebody shows bottom for this wave, you just hit all your item spikes for both your AD carry and your top lane. Stun land on Kind Jungle.
Oh, JC Pastrage looks for something. Kind Jungle able to disengage that.
They've set up the bottom wave, they have their item breakpoints, they're now shoving in the mid wave. All they have to do is wait now. Top lane is shoving as well. As soon as you get a pick or an advantage with Maokai showing up in the bottom lane, you go for this Baron, pull out the teleport, and then look to reset after that.
Yeah, Gwynsu's Blade, the Rune King on some kids can take this objective down so quickly as well. We do have the Maokai, Suit Up Bro, down in the bot lane. He has teleport available. They decide to...
They're rushing the mid lane though.
Starting the Baron. This is actually going to be a trade. Kind Jungle looking to potentially steal that. Goes in, not going to be secured. He will fall, but it's all about this mid lane as well now. Lane and King Georgie looking to take down this inhibitor. They will trade for this, so this was a premeditated trade for the objective. Losing
They're collapsing onto them though.
They are trying to collapse. JC Prestige on the front
Triple
line.
stun!
Because of available. Triple stun available. IR2, does so much damage trying to pick that up. Flashes forward, traded against Niles. But those will be the kills secured over to University of Virginia, so well played by them.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a misplay from them. Kind Jungle, if he had managed to get that steal, that would have been the perfect play, but does not get it in the end. And this is going to be huge for them. They have the Baron, they have a minion wave coming in. They're going to be able to probably get at least the mid lane inhibitor on this push, and then set up for another one afterwards. Stun just short there as well. This is the first inhib for University of Virginia right off the back of DNA picking up theirs, equalizing it.
Yeah, they also have top lane pushing in their favor. Bot lane isn't, since Suit Up Bro was currently down there, resetting that, but they can look to go topside if they want. They are going to recall, purchase the items available to them. BF Sword and actually Cloth Armor secured for some kid.
Yeah, and this was a super nice setup in general from University of Virginia. As we pointed out beforehand, they had that wave pushing in the bottom lane. As soon as Suit Up Bro showed in that bottom lane, it was pretty much guaranteed that they'd start up the Baron. They just cleared out the vision, you knew they were there. You had to go and contest it, but instead they opted to go for the mid lane push and try and get that inhibitor. It's not going to work out in most cases where you're just going for this 50-50 smite. And unfortunately for them, they're now on the back foot and are going to have to clear waves for another couple minutes with the Baron buff on University of Virginia.
Yeah, exactly. We do now have the Last Whisper picked up for King Georgie, so they are looking to shred the tank line of JC Prestige and Hansen. Not matched on the side of some kid, but he does have that percent health with that Gwynsu's Rage Blade and the Blade of the King.
And Inderkarnive has as well picked up that Ardent Sensor, so he's going to be giving a little bit more attack speed to some kid. I'm not sure if I necessarily agree with it. You could have gone for something like the Mikhails, where you do have both a Maokai and a Sejuani on the other team who are going to be trying to stun, specifically some kid and as well IR Timmy. That's going to be such a better item with that active that can cleanse the CC than something like the Ardent Sensor, which gives the stats of a recurve bow.
Yeah, exactly. Timmy has been instrumental in these fights, getting the picks with his long-range stun.
Yeah,
just to set up fights. Yeah, exactly. That was a fantastic collapse there available. JC Pastrage looking to trade with Suit Up over both very tanky members. 2-level advantage actually for JC Prestige.
The one thing that DNA currently has going for them is that they have a ton of wave clear both in the Caitlyn and Azir. So they can try and stall out this Baron, reset the map once the inhibitors are back, and then look to take another fight that is hopefully more favorable.
So they're pushing in now. The Baron buff isn't going to last forever, so if they're looking to take another inhibitor, now is the moment.
Yeah, and Ultimate went wide there from Pine Jungle. I think they were trying to get a pick onto some kid. If they do manage to get something on him, he has no way to get out of stuns. No QSS or Mikhails available. They're going to set up a wave in the bottom lane here as well.
Chain of Corruption actually going to land onto Pine Jungle. Hannisem's in the front line, gets the water both up. It's going to look to tank up Sura, bro, who's going to have to run away. Flashes away from that. Not re-engages with a massive Emperor's Divide. Gonna try and secure the kills there now. King Georgie trying to pick up any kills he can under the tower right now. He's trying to get onto the backline. Flashes up on that one. And this is a quadra kill actually for some kid who may be looking to trade up onto the 80 carries, but he just hasn't got the help by. He's now running through mid.
Inderkarnive is here. They can look to potentially... Actually, Inderkarnive down.
He hasn't got ace of the hold available to him though. But
yeah, he did try and use it to pick up some kid earlier. But some kid flashing into the backline at the end of that fight, it looked like it was going to turn for DNA. Niles getting the Shurima shuffle into the front line and picking up 2 kills there by shoving them into the turret. Some kid doesn't even care. He just flashes past everything, picks up the kill both onto Niles and Lane on the back there, manages to turn this around for his team. The only thing that makes it even is King Georgie managing to pick up a couple kills, so they'd stop the push. Elder Dragon is live now, though.
Yeah, we do have a more of Mammaltius picked up for King Georgie, matched by the Guardian Angel of some kids. So both trying to play a little bit defensive. Obviously, King Georgie doesn't want to get stunned up and insta-popped by the Unleashed power that Artemi has been very narrow focused on in these fights.
Yeah, and Guardian Angel now picked up for some kids, so he's going to have a little bit more safety in these fights in case he does get caught out by some of that crowd control from DNA. I'd still like to see something like a QSS or a Mikhails, but you definitely need that tank shredding power from the Last Whisper.
Yeah, with Baron down, they are looking to all match vision around the Elder Drake right now. DNA in the river, currently trying to eke out the advantages they can. Maybe set up for this. They have Suit Up Bo in the bottom lane as well, so he can collapse at any moment.
Caitlyn fully completed items now with that Lord Dominic's Regard, so is going to be able to put a lot of damage both onto Hanism and JC Prestige. If they can keep this control with the traps around the Elder Dragon, they should be able to take this pretty much free of charge.
I think as soon as they come over the threshold, they might look for a fight. King Georgie already there available. Lots of traps coming down. Gets a massive pot shot onto Hammerson. That is so much damage onto a tank.
They do get a little bit of fast track
though. They are contesting the Drake as it resets.
Nature's Grasp is down, so they're down a huge engage from Suit Up Bro.
Chain of Corruption actually going to land onto King Georgie, but Suit Up Bro's into the back line already. King Georgie gets on top, Cataclysm down onto that. Some massive Emperor's Divide to reset the fight. Niles has to flash away. King Georgie not able to do the DPS in this fight. Means that IRTV's looking for something. He doesn't have Unleashed power though. Some kid on the back gonna pick up the Sejuani. Kind Jungle spotted that actually flash available. IRTV really wants this kill onto Niles right now. as King Georgie is literally in the enemy base, actually going to get knocked up by JC Prestige, going to get taken down with the help of Indicative, and Niles is maybe going to get away with a sliver of health. He has a blinking health bar as he went into single digits.
Yeah, and as soon as that Elder Dragon is picked up for University of Virginia, you see the fight swing into their favor. They instantly start picking up the kills. Niles tries to reset the fight with the Emperor's Divide to get the University of Virginia front line off of the carries, but it's not enough. They have so much damage and follow-up with the added bonus on Infernal. They're going to get the Baron on the backside of this as well and look to probably end the game off of this with both buffs.
I think they can probably do it right now as well. Tremendous team fight. An exceptional Emperor's Divide by Niles just to reset the fight, but that means that King Georgie wasn't there to be able to provide the damage, and the tanks going down from Suit Up Row and Kind Jungle meant that the fight deteriorated and everyone just had to scatter for their lives.
Yeah, that Nature's Grasp missing from Suit Up Row before the actual fight happened was pretty important, as it meant that they couldn't really lock people down to give both Niles and King Georgie the time to fire into the front line and start clearing the tanks. Full items now on Sumkit as well, does pick up the
Mortal Reminder
there, so he's going to be able to deny the healing from actually it's only the Maokai that he's going to deny healing from. I'm kind of curious as to why he'd go for that pickup. There's no lifesteal on the Caitlyn unless the Ma procs.
Unless you get the life grip. But currently University of Virginia in the jungle of DNA looking to be imposing on the bottom side of the map.
They have top lane pushing as well, so they can instantly rotate up towards the mid and top side if they want to.
University of Virginia is such a strong point for them, as they do have the Baron, they do have the Elder buff as well.
Look, they're instantly rotating to the mid lane. You put all your Caitlyn traps down in the bottom lane, and they're just going to take this mid inhibitor now.
Really wise to work where your enemy are weak, using the traps in the bot lane, rotating mid. They've also got that way, as you said, to the top. They can take that T2 tower for free in the top side, and they can look to potentially harass onto the bottom as well.
You do have a little bit lower cooldown on the Caitlyn traps, but not able to put them down fast enough to deny University of Virginia. Only 3 available here.
I get funneled in, actually start missing there for IR Timmy. Resets the fight for a moment.
I'd love to see them rotate back towards the bottom lane now, as every trap is again used by King Georgie. Play around the cooldowns and just starve out DNA to win this first game. Elder Dragon buff has dropped, so it's just the Baron now.
Stun actually does land onto King Georgie. Yes, he does run away, but massive ultimate coming out from Kind Jungle to start it off. Gonna get prompted for the Wild Growth as they sort of reset the fight a little bit here. Just waiting for minions, but JC Prestige is already in the mid, just trying to usher in these Baron minions just to cause pressure.
And again, Suit Up Row wasting the Nature's Grasp there. The cleanse coming out from IR Timmy almost instantly to get him out of trouble. They're going to reset with the Baron recall here and look to take advantages. Actually, Mikhail's completed by Indracar Knife. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Does mean he's not going to have the control wards anymore, but can actually free up Sumkit if he gets locked up by an important ultimate like the Glacial Prison.
Yeah, what a game we have, Lombax, right now. DNA were in the ascendancy early, and a couple of picks, and University of Virginia are right back in this game. They have the lead right now. Substantial gold lead, but at this time it doesn't mean too much. We do have a needlessly wild rod picked up for Niles, as he's probably looking to go for a death cap last item if he can. He already has
the death cap. I'm guessing it's a Luden's Echo that he's going to pick up as his final item there.
Right.
They're going to push the bottom lane here as well. They haven't set up the top wave this time, which is a bit of an error on their part. If they're going to look to rotate like they did last time, it's going to be more difficult for them. Trap line out from Caitlyn, meaning it's so hard for University of Virginia to push in. They do have the teleport on JC Prestige as well. I'm wondering why they're not using this to set up a 4-1. As I say it, they do set that up.
It could suddenly send your 4-man bot lane, send JC Prestige up in the top to try and split push. As the ultimate comes out for Gun Jungle, gonna get procced on the Guardian Angel right now, and Suabro just dancing on his body, trying to pick up the kill. That'll go over to Niles. That was a little bit of a mistake. Really nice pick up there from Kind Jungle with that Glacial Prism.
And this is the one issue when you opt for the Guardian Angel rather than something like the Mercurial Scimitar. Yes, you still have the Mikhail's Crucible from Inderkarnite, but if Inderkarnite isn't right there to save you, you're gonna drop anyways. There's so much follow-up crowd control from DNA that they're just able to pick you off if that happens. They're gonna look for this mid inhibitor now as well.
Yeah, Flash and Barrier were available to some kid, but he just got absolutely dropped where he stood. That's going to be pressure over to DNA as they're able to secure the middle inhibitor.
And that relieves the 4-1 that was being set up against them. They do equalize the mid inhibitor, and it means that they have another chance at this. Baron in a minute 30, if they can set up for that, they have the potential to win the game now. He actually does end up selling that Guardian Angel as well. Some kid now sitting on the Bloodthirster instead. Again, questioning why that's not a Mercurial Scimitar.
But if you can hang around in a card, if you do have the Mercurial Crucible set up as well. Massive damage actually onto Suabro. They're just trying to lead him, but he's able to run away and disengage, unleash power, not quite securing the kill, but that did not seem like a very tanky Malco.
No, and his only real magic resist is actually the adaptive helm. He has a little bit from the Gargoyle Stoneplate, but it's not really enough to afford him too much when it comes to Timmy, who is sitting on, actually, let's take a look, 722 ability power currently. So his ultimate in total can do the damage per sphere, or the minimum total damage actually that he'll do is almost 1,000.
That's kind of Kind Jungle looking to pick up onto some kid, able to flash away from that one.
Yeah, so he does burn the summoner this time. If he gets caught out again like that, though, that could spell the game. Huge damage from Timmy. That was just the stun on the orb that I think landed on lane, and it took half his health.
Yeah, actually, this is really nice for DNA as they have both sideways pushing in their favor as Baron's now live on the map. They've also chunked out the flash of some kids, so they're looking to instantly start this objective.
The last time we saw them set up around a dragon, or around an objective, the Elder Dragon actually went over to University of Virginia. It's already almost down though.
Oh, Hanizm's in the pit. He's actually going to secure it. Massive for him. Some kid now trying to skirt around the outside of the fight, trying to get in the damage now. He's looking to go for Kind Jungle, disengaged from the fight. King George, he's trying to also get on the pot shots onto flashes all the way for University of Virginia, piling through. Glacial Prism comes out, call down, but Kind Jungle has to run away from the fight, and that is a massive fight over to University of Virginia, securing that for them and potentially the game of that winning fight.
This should be the game for them. If they can't win it here, then there's an issue, because the only wave clear that they currently have is lane, and he's not itemized for much of that ability power. Huge fight from them, the steal from Hanism to set them up for that, and then they managed to set their front line up in such a way that some kid can continually fire off. He gets the Gwynzow's Rageblade stack, and then just melts the tanks and damage dealers. Kind Jungle dropping super low. He melts the tanks and damage dealers. They're actually going to look to end the game.
Bloodthirster paying off in the end. Kind Jungle trying to do what he can. Lane also on the backside, not able to pick up too much. Timmy potentially going down as Ignite comes through, but Wild Ghost will secure his survival, and the Nexus will fall over to University of Virginia.
Wow. Explosive end to the game there, and they opt into another 50-50 fight for the Smite. This time, Hanism coming up with the steal, and it means the game in the end. Crazy 48-minute game from both teams. There's some pros and cons for both of them. I think the biggest thing to take away from DNA is that you need to play to the strengths of your comp, set up a little bit earlier around objectives, and not drop some of the kills early that they did. If they can do that and clean up their game, I think they have the potential to beat University of Virginia in the next game going forward.
Yeah, exactly. Lombax really enjoyed that game one. We will be right back with game number two.
All right, and we are just about to get into Champion Select for Game 2 of University of Virginia versus DNA. University of Virginia going up 1-0 in that Game 1 there. An absolute fantastic game. Going to 48 minutes. Rupter, are you ready for Game 2 here?
Oh, yes, indeed. That was a fantastic game one. University of Virginia managing to just delay the early game of DNA. They really had strong presence from King Georgian lane, but they were just not able to secure towers far enough. They secured the top one, but it took them a little bit longer than they were wanting. And then losing out the Rift Herald to some kid really changed the aspect of the game, meant that they were able to just secure kills around the mid side and really reset the map a little bit.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that game was down to both the dropped objectives and the dropped kills in the early game. If DNA can clean that up, I think they definitely have the potential to win with a composition like that again. King Georgie and Niles both performing extremely well again. Hopefully they can take this game in the end, push us to a Game 3. We will have to see.
Those Emperor's Divides by Niles were spectacular. Really getting some picks in the mid game, but ultimately not quite enforcing the win for his team. We are now Champion Select, guys. This will be University of Virginia on the blue side, and on the red side will be DNA.
And I expect potentially to see some changes in the banning phase here. I imagine that either if you're UVA, you want to take away or ban the Caitlyn, as King Georgie has shown multiple times now that he performs extremely well in this champion. Some kid did have a fantastic performance on Varus though, so potentially you want to keep that maybe?
Yeah, we did have a lot of ADC bans out up to that point. We had the Cogmore, the Tristana banned against him as well.
The Jace and the Echo bans returning from the previous game. Nobody wants to give Niles Echo for some reason. I can't imagine why. Not like he's extremely proficient on it or anything. Have we actually even seen him play Echo? I know we've seen him play Yasuo before, but I don't think he's ever actually gotten the chance to play Echo. It's always banned away.
No, we do see the Caitlyn ban coming out. So very similar bans to game number one. We do see the Caitlyn coming out.
Yeah,
however,
University of Virginia, they trade the Kog'Maw from last ban phase, I believe, for the Caitlyn.
Yeah. Again, hovering over for that Jarvan. JC Prestige favouring this champion, also can flex it into the jungle. But again, Gragas is available and has played a lot of this champion in the RML so far.
Yeah, definitely showing his proficient on it. A lot of the turnaround fights came from him getting these massive cataclysms onto both a flashless AD carry or both Niles and King Georgie so that they can get onto the damage dealers and get them down. Tristana, the first pickup for DNA, looking to go for a little bit more scaling this time around rather than that early game focused Caitlyn.
Yeah, having early round picked up the Caitlyn, they banned away the Tristana, so this time they'll pick that up.
And I imagine they'll try and pick up a support in the first set of picks here. They actually do opt for the Lulu that was for University of Virginia last time. I wasn't a huge fan of the Karma, with the Caitlyn there. It was really good in the early laning phase, but I think she falls off very hard towards the later game. So if you are opting for something like the Tristana, definitely go for something like that Lulu or one of the heavier engager peel support such as Braum, Leona, or Blitzcrank. Sejuani, the pickup for the jungle, actually a takeaway from Kind Jungle last game.
Oh, it's locked in.
Oh,
Lombax. This is some kid's Callista, who had an amazing game that we actually managed to cast, absolutely shredding through the enemy team. And again, we're hoping for him to go large on this champion.
Yeah, and last time he got it, what was that, a 25-minute game that they won? Something like that. Some kid just jumping his way through the enemy team on the Callista, showing that it is something you should be banning or taking away from him. Hopefully he can have another standout performance like he did last game on the Varus.
Yeah, they actually paired that with a Lulu, so that is taken away from Indicaniv. So we'll see what gets applied to that. You could also potentially play the Leona if you wanted to. That
I
has a lot of
like
engage.
that.
Also,
Yeah.
Alistair as well. They could maybe look for a Thresh so they can have engagement from the bot lane, but they currently don't need it as they do have JC Prestige and Hasm already playing these engaged tanks of Jarvan and Sejuani.
Yeah, they do pick up the Gragas for the jungler trade. Actually, Thresh banned away from University of Virginia as well, so they're not going to be able to play that very lane dominant matchup. I expect them to pick something like the Blitzcrank or Leona. I'd love to see the Leona though, as that's sort of risen in popularity thanks to Misfits, with Ignar pulling out the Fervor Leona.
Yeah, exactly. We will see Maokai getting picked up, forced to suit up, bro, up in the top lane. Probably get locked in to match the tank.
Oh,
So you
Ornn!
do need that. Oh, on. Okay.
I believe we did see Suit Up Row play this last week as well. I think that'll be an interesting matchup into Jarvan, as you can avoid the crowd control effect from his flag and drag if you time it properly.
Yeah, also Ornn has a lot of early trading potential since he can just use the Forge in lane, pick up the extra items. Gonna blind click the Oriana here. This is for IR Timmy. He has played a lot of this champion in solo queue. And Tarek gonna round out University of Virginia's team comp for Indiganiv.
Yeah, and I like this pickup as well because I think this is one of the few supports that going an early Ardent Sensor on still makes sense because he can apply it to his entire team very easily. So it still has a lot of gold value, specifically on Tarek, I think. Talia looking to be the pickup in the mid lane to round out the composition for DNA as they do lock it in. These are the completed team comps here. I am very scared of what University of Virginia can do with their composition.
Yeah, frankly, I like it. I like the fact that Kalista's been paired with the Tarek. You're really able to play quite aggressively now on the Tarek, looking for those dazzles and really set the team up for success. You then can then follow that with the Sejuani and the Jarvan just to preemptive. And that enables so much time for IR Timmy to really find the perfect window for that shockwave to try and get Niles and King Georgie in that and lane if possible for that 3-man perfect ult.
And that's the scary thing for me is that you have got this scaling element in the team comp now with that Oriana. It's very easy to put the ball on JC Prestige, who flag and drags in, picks up a couple people into his Cataclysm like we've seen him do in the previous games, and then follow that up with the Shockwave. If King Georgie doesn't time the buffer on his rocket jump right, that means he will most likely just drop right then and there with all that damage piling onto him.
Yeah, I like matching up the Talia into the Oriana here. Talia potentially going to have the early shove in the lane, possibly going to be able to roam around the map if you can really try and find purchase in it. Niles played very well in the early stages of the game as Azir.
We saw the Talia from him last week as well, and I believe that was the game where he was the only one actually performing on his team, the first one that they'd played. And we saw him repeatedly getting seismic shoves onto priority carries. So we're going to have to see if he can actually pull some kid out of one of his hops potentially and get him down low. If he can do that, I think they have a good chance to win these team fights. They have a fantastic engage both with the Gragas Explosive Cast and Ornn's Call of the Forge God. So I think they have potential if they can scale up, but they're really going to have to work hard to make it through this laning phase of the Kalista and Tarek.
Yeah, in terms of compositions, I kind of slightly favor DNA for this. I feel like they have more sustained damage if they can get that explosive cask and ensure some kid can't really enter the fight, particularly onto the backline. King Georgie can really scale into the game, provide that damage for the team. So we're definitely looking for Kind Jungle to really set the pace of the fights.
Yeah, that is nice as well. You do have the ability to play more of a kite composition with what you currently have. You have the explosive cask for disengage. You can use the Call of the Forge God as well defensively. And then you have the both polymorph and wild growth from Lulu to keep King Georgie safe. So going into the later stages of the game, I think they have the ability to deal with the engage from University of Virginia, but they're not going to be able to get caught out by anything as they will drop very quickly to the sustained damage of Callista and burst from the Oriana. So these are
Yeah,
the compositions, though. Let us know in the chat what you think. Who do you think, Rupter? Who would you give it to? Who is your preferred team here after we've just discussed them?
I'd favour DNA. I think we favoured them last game and they actually lost to the slightly more explosive team fight. But that was pretty much just Hannesum getting a lot of picks.
Yeah, and Hannesum didn't perform quite as well as Kind Jungle in the early game, but he really showed up in the later stages of the game, especially around those objectives, landing multiple smite fights there, stole that Baron at the end of the game to secure the victory for them as well. So I'm hoping that he can potentially turn his early game on a little bit more, reverse of the matchup we saw last game where Kind Jungle was on the Sejuani. Hannesum has it now, so hopefully he can make a little bit more impact for his bottom lane.
Yeah, exactly, Lombax. Looking forward to this one. This is game 2 of week 5 of the RML. This will be University of Virginia on the blue team versus DNA on the red team. Currently, University of Virginia are 1 game up. Again, lane favouring this Ignite, going for that Thunderlords as well, so maybe looking to poke out a little bit in the early game, looking for that trading early against Sunken, really providing purchase in the lane to provide King Georgie just to be able to farm up and get to that late game, get to that sort of 2-3 item crit build that you need to get, and then a little bit of armor penetration as well you're going to need to secure to get through the tankiness of Hannesum and JC Prestige.
Exactly. I would love to see Hannesum path towards this bottom side this time around. You are paused at 5 seconds, correct?
Yep.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. I'd love to see him path towards this bottom side again, and are you getting any sort... Oh, did I press like minus or something? Hang on. Yeah, I'm on 0.5 speed. Can you pause again at 20 seconds?
Yep.
Alright, I'm paused now. Alright, in 3, 2, 1, go. Made a bit of a mistake there. I hit the minus as I unpaused. I would like to see him go for that pathing though, as if you can get that Callista head. She's actually gone for Dorn Shield somewhat interestingly as well, and the Ancient Coin for Inderkarnive. So they're looking to scale up and get that additional gold. I imagine that'll be an Ardent Sensor first buy for the Tark as well with this start.
Yeah, the difference this time obviously is Durin's Blade in the bot lane for King Georgie, so they are looking to play aggressive in this lane. We do have that Spell Thief, as you said, and the Ignite lane that he seems to favour. They weren't really managing to create a lot of kill threat in the bot lane, but they certainly got them low enough to be able to secure that tower very quickly.
And I think Sudabro has actually played a lot of Ornn. He has no starting item currently. He's opted for 2 potions. So what I imagine he's going to do is get the first minion or 2 CS, and then he's instantly going to build his starting item. Now pause actually coming out. I'm not sure what the issue is I have chat disabled.
Do you think it'll be a greedy buy, like maybe an early cull that he could build?
Who was it? Somebody did that. I remember it specifically from one of the previous weeks. And we saw like that it didn't quite work out. I think that actually might have been in the RPL. I think it's definitely a greedy item if you're playing Ornn.
I think so too, Lombax. We do have a little bit of a pause coming in right now as we see the junglers starting on opposite sides of the map this time.
Yeah, and Hannesum still could go for an early gank here. It looks like he might be starting the red buff, so he might look for cheese early. Go directly from that red buff to the bottom lane. I think getting early ganks onto this Ornn as well would be pretty important. He is a little bit of a sitting duck in the early game, and JC Prestige has shown time and again that he can land these important flag and drags. So if they can layer that crowd control, I think they could get him snowballing ahead and be able to split push easily against Ornn.
Yeah, particularly only having 2 health pots to his name right now is certainly a risky start. I don't think I've seen it in any of my games, so we'll have to see what he builds in the prospect. But currently Currently, Lane and King Georgie are sitting on a ward right now, so that is going to get spotted out there. We're looking for a little bit of cheeky harass early on, but some kid and Indicarnate are going to go the safe way to Lane, I think, completely bypassing the gank potential set up by DNA.
Yeah, and this is a... Oh, did you get a massive lag spike there?
I'm at 205.
I'm at 203, so we're going to have to pause at 210 quickly. That's unfortunate. Alright, I'm paused.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go. I think this is something that they've noticed from them. King Georgie and Lane, I think almost every single time they're on the blue side, actually try and set up in that tri-bush and get trade or poke damage onto the enemy bottom lane. So that's nice of them to drop that ward in the tri-bush and spot it out.
Yeah, early lane presence from his lane is playing very forward in this lane, just trying to get some harassment or some kid. Not trading minion aggro as well, as he's hiding very nicely against that.
And he's gone for the Spell Thief's Edge as well, so he's going to be looking to trade a lot in this early game. We'll have a little bit of extra damage with the AP they've put onto that item.
Yeah, Hanizm actually pretty much going buff to buff, so he's going to stop Kind Jungle doing any sort of shenanigans starting on the top side of the map. Hanizm now looking potentially for an invade, just see what's available on the top side of the jungle.
Could go for a gank
DNA.
in the top lane as well, there's no ward. He's going to pick up the Krugs though. This bottom lane as well, something to watch out for, is level 3. King Georgie and Lane have gotten the shove here early, but when some kid and Indracarnive hit level 3, is going to be a massive power spike as you have actually gank in the top lane.
Oh, stood up, bro. Kind of get caught. Permafrost's going to land, but he's under tower, so he probably won't fall.
Yeah, good attempt there. They do manage to burn this flash from Suit Up Bro, so that's someplace you definitely want to look to return gank. Gonna spot out the Gragas as well, I believe, on the Raptor camp here. So they should know that he's down on this bottom side. Sejuani actually pathing directly there from the top lane.
Yeah, he doesn't have Smite available though, so maybe just looking to push him off. Neither does Kind Jungle, so this will get contested by both junglers. Kind Jungle actually pushed away from it currently.
Yeah, and this provides some of the coverage as well from your bottom lane and means that some kid and Indracarnive can play a little bit more aggressive if they want to. They have all 3 abilities for the Taric now, which is a massive power spike from them. They do land the stun.
Yeah, Smite away actually in the jungle. Kind Jungle gonna win out on that one as he does secure the big one. We do have a Dorian shield actually picked up from Suit Up Boy, but he is very low on mana in the top lane.
Yeah, and potentially this is because of that 2 potion start he did earlier. It means that he would have had a lot less to do for these first couple minions until he had the gold for that Doran shield. He is trading pretty well under JC Prestige though.
Yeah, managed to get the Grasp of the Undying. He's getting very low as JC Prestige gets the Grasp of the Undying. Back onto Suit Up Bro. Suit Up Bro only has 100 health left. So he's probably going to have to use his teleport to come back to the lane as JC Prestige has the priority in this lane. He's actually going to look to cancel the back right now. Going to take a tower shot for it as well.
Yeah, and thinking about this start, actually, I think if Suit Up Bro had opted for something like the Corrupting Potion, like JC Prestige has done, that would have been just the better option in general to the double potion start he'd gone for. It gives you a little bit of trading power, and then you can just opt to build items towards what you're looking to get instead.
Yeah, JC Prestige actually has flash available. Came back with a longsword, so maybe could have looked for the dive on Suit Up Bro. He was very low on mana, wouldn't have been able to provide a combo to stun him up under the tower.
He can get a little bit of a push on here though during the recall, try and deny a couple minutes to Suit Up Bro. He is going to opt for the Glacial Shroud first though, so he's probably going for that Righteous Glory. Bottom lane as well is trading pretty even. Slight CS advantage for King Georgie now. I'm kind of disappointed Hanizm hasn't gone to that bottom lane yet. Huge ward coverage down in the bottom lane for them though, so that will need to be dealt with before he can make his way down there.
Yeah, the bot lane of DNA seems to be slightly tapered at this stage of the game. They're playing very aggressively with this Caitlyn, and they try to again with lane with this Ignite and with this Spell Thief, but they're not able to get poke onto some kid. Some kid farming up very nicely, pretty much equal with King Georgie right now, a little bit behind, but he does have the way pushing into him.
Some aggression out of the Callisto would be nice here. They know that lane goes to ward whenever he walks away. Stun does miss. They can easily use this with the Callisto to look for some trade damage on a King Georgie with the added mobility that some kid has, but they're not opting for it.
During that, Hanazum managing to invade into the jungle, gets a little bit of deep vision, manages to find Kind Jungle, maybe looking to take away the red buff that has just spawned Kind Jungle now on that objective.
They do have massive ward coverage up in the red side jungle now, so JC Prestige has the ability to play very aggressive now against the Ornn. So it looks like they're trying to snowball his lead potentially. Gragas actually heading towards the top side.
Gragas is there available. Will we see Call of the Forge God? Yes, we will. It's been flashed away from. Still going to get the knock-up. Kind Jungle can't quite land the follow-up, and JC Prestige is just going to flag and drag away.
I think he expected JC Prestige to start moving earlier there. If Kind Jungle had landed that knock-up, that would have been a kill for them, but he does end up missing it, and that means that JC Prestige does manage to get away. They had good ward coverage in the red side jungle as well, but he had no wards actually in the lane. So he should have known that Kind Jungle was there, but did not actually engage in the bottom lane.
Oh, King Georgie actually takes quite a lot of poke as the stun lands from Incarnate. Kind of get flashed away from lane, surviving that engagement as the Glacial Prism does come down from Hanazum.
Yeah, and ultimates achieved both by lane and King Georgie here. Slight XP advantage.
Oh, Jesus Fury's going on actually Cataclysms and flashed away from him. He's going to pick up the first blood solo in the top lane as he did complete the Tiamat, came back to lane with that power spike and used it to full effectiveness.
I don't think Pseudopro was quite expecting that damage. He had a little bit of a late flash out of the Cataclysm there.
Oh, Hanazum is in the bot. He's looking for King Georgie. Gonna stop the engagement coming out. Knock up here as the ultimate from some kid comes out. Hanazum now having to retreat as Kind Jungle is in the bot lane. He's gonna try to secure a kill onto some kid. Flashes away from re-engages with that explosive cast. Some kid on the back end of the fight gonna go down to lane into Cardiff now with a line of fire. Gonna get slowed up by the barrel, and King Georgie is gonna secure his first kill of the game.
Fantastic counter gank from Kind Jungle there. They push really deep onto King Georgie, and he gets all this health from the wild growth, so he's able to stay healthy. Manages to re-engage after that with Kind Jungle, and they pick up both these kills here. One of them is unfortunately onto lane, but they're going to be able to get a huge advantage off of this and nullify Callista's early game.
Mid laners are poking out fervently right now. They are potentially looking for a little bit of an engagement if they can find it. Shockwave available, so our team definitely has the pressure in that, but junglers are going to meet up in the side of University of Virginia right now.
Yeah, and they managed to clear most of the wave before taking this tower, so they're going to be able to just get the last couple minions here and then get a fantastic recall. Pause, actually. The bottom lane of DNA will get a fantastic recall off of this, though, and they'll be able to spend 3.3k on the Tristana.
I mean, that is massive. I would probably suspect that would be a static shift and starting boots again, maybe, or potentially a little bit of AD looking for that Zeal and BF sword available in T1 boots.
I keep getting lags after every pause. I don't know if you got one there. Kind Jungle actually.
I'm at 10:05. Forge God comes out. RTB trying to shockwave Niles.
Oh, he misses it.
Get it followed up from Hanazum. Gonna secure the kill back, but now JC Prestige is in the fight, looking for Kind Jungle as bad as possible. Pick him up. Has the shield available to it, but probably willful. Tries to smite the crab for a little bit of help. He's trying to kite out now. I think when JC Prestige gets his flag and drive back, they'll look to secure this kill. Will pop him up. Secured on the top side of the map.
None of those kills had to go over, but Pseudopro uses the Call of the Forge God. He completely misses his headbutt onto it. Nobody there to crowd control him, and this means then that they don't get the kill early enough onto IR Timmy, and they end up having to trade one over.
Sadly, we do see the bot lane instant Infinity Edge coming out of the Tristana right now as they have again a lane swap. They're looking to push down this top side. We do have that match of Berserker's Greaves and a Vampiric Scepter, but that is such an early Infinity Edge picked up by King Georgie right now that this lane might be unstoppable.
Yeah, and they're already on top of the turret as well. They're going to be able to get this probably about down to half before they even get to the second wave. This is oppressive from King Georgie, and this is what we saw in the Caitlyn game last week and a little bit in the Caitlyn game previously. If they can keep this pace up and actually secure the objectives this time around, they'll be off to a fantastic start.
Yeah, they will. So this is where the vision moves. This is where the Rift Herald is available. No one's taken the mountain yet as that stands at 11:40 into the game. We have 1,000 gold lead over for DNA as they have again secured themselves the early lane advantage.
Yeah, and Niles as well on this Talia means that he can actually get over to the side lanes much quicker than IR Timmy. So if he can do that, they could actually look to potentially just zone the bottom lane off of this top turret and take it easily without any resistance from University of Virginia.
As top tower for University of Virginia is already up to 50% health, and Kind Jungle is behind them right now. To be nice for him to maybe thwart that.
Definitely need to leave earlier like that so that you can be ahead of the Weaver's Wall.
Cosmic's Radiance actually comes down, literally trying to secure this tower. Teleport as well for JC Prestige. Artemy is very low to the poke by Niles. Kind Jungle may be looking for something, but he's caught up. Permafrost is gonna come out wild growth, trying to keep him alive for as long as possible, but he will fall to JC Prestige's Cataclysm.
Yeah, unfortunate fight for them there. They do look to try and force that objective, but with JC Prestige completing that teleport and Suit Up Bro being on the bottom side, you need to try and respect the damage that can come out of them. Callista is still an early game centric AD carry. Hanism does have that HP damage from the permafrost. You need to be able to get out and avoid that if they do commit to a fight.
Yeah, Hanism again in the top lane looking for something wherever he can find. Limited mana available for lane right now. And this tower is down to 100 health, so maybe they'll look to be a little bit greedy around it. They need to respect that though.
Roam up from Suit Up Bro. He does have the ultimate.
Okay, they're drawing in the mid lane. Mid lane is very low on either side. Gonna get picked up there for Niles. That'll be the threaded volley coming through for the kill.
Fighting the top lane as well. Lane gonna end up flashing out of that one. Very nice from Niles to pick up that one kill in the mid lane, but it does mean he had to burn both summoners. Suit Up Bro did manage to actually land his headbutt on the ultimate that time as well.
Yeah, last hit there for King Georgie just to secure the second tower of the game again. This was the mistake that they made last time. They stayed a little bit too long for this Rift Herald. I don't think they can take it onto this push as lane has no mana and King Georgie needs to have another Monumentus back, securing 1800 gold for himself.
Yeah, and JC Prestige up here as well means that if they do opt for it, he has the ability to engage on them again and potentially pick up some more kills. I'm not sure if it's bugged, but it looks like he just uses Cataclysm. I don't know if that's the same on your screen. I think that must be a bug.
Yeah, it's a bug for you, it's not for me.
Okay, because it does say that there's like...
Says available. He's actually looking to go onto King Georgie right now, who flashes away. Gonna get secured by the Cataclysm of JC Prestige. Flash was banned in the process. Actually, going back into this Kind Jungle, trying to look for the fight as the tower will fall. Cosmic Radiance full. That'll delay the fight a little bit as Niles is charging in with the threaded bodies. Gonna get stunned up by Indicana as JC's Prestige has found his target. Decides against it though. Timmy falling very low. The Oriana managing to survive. Permafrost is gonna come out onto Kind Jungle, who's going to fall. Flash forward from Indicana, trying to get onto Niles. They will. Permafrost again triggers, and Hanism is now power diving. Some kid looking for a little bit of damage onto Suit Up Bro, but that is the fight for University of Virginia.
All around pretty sloppy from both teams, but the blinking health bars on the side of University of Virginia are enough to keep them alive.
King Georgie is in right now. He's looking for Indicana. He's not managing to secure that kill, and it will split up.
Yeah, nice call of the Forge God to disengage them from that tower. They do pick up that first mid tower though, and will be their first for the game. They have the ability to recall and set up vision around one of the objectives now and try and look for that. They need a little bit more of this as King Georgie is so far ahead. They need to sort of stall his progress as they actually do finally get the Blade of the Rune King completed for some kid. He has the ability now to affect the game more, as the Forbidden Idol is about half of the Ardent Sensor as well for Indokarnive. Completing that will be a huge spike for them.
Yeah, JC Prestige again having a Goliath game on this Jarvan. 4-0-3 on him. He has finished the Black Cleaver as well as the Tiamat. Shockwave coming out to King Georgie as he falls very low, but he is off the map. He's probably going to have to re-ghoul. He doesn't have any lifestealers built apart from that Durian's Blade right now.
Yeah, that means that they can actually look to take this dragon if they wanted as well. There's no AD carry to contest it now, so they don't have the consistent damage for a team fight to take this. I've been getting a lot of lag when trying to speed up as well. Can you pause at like 7:10 or 17:10? Sorry.
Yep.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. I kept trying to repeatedly catch up by speeding up the game slightly, but it just was not actually catching you.
That's alright. So do see a little bit of vision coming out here for DNA. They're looking to secure the objective of the mountain. Rift still available, but that will only be up for another 2 minutes.
I don't think anybody will end up getting this Rift Herald. The vision control is for DNA in that side of the map, but it doesn't actually look like they're going to go for it as they're opting to try and take this mid tower instead here. I do like that, but JC Prestige is making his way down ahead of Suit Up Bro.
Yeah, with the double penetration of the Sork shoes and the Horning guys, IRTV is going to do a lot of damage with the Shockwave. Also, Morello now finished, farmed up quite well in the early game.
Yeah, it does have an advantage over Niles. Looking at the gold specifically, it's about a 500 gold advantage for him.
They are currently looking to trade objectives for the mountain for the Rift right now. DNA on the Rift. They are a little bit slow on the players. There was a bit more of a reactive thing. King Georgie actually jumping out of the pit. Kind Jungle following suit. This is pretty much gifting the Rift Herald right now over to University of Virginia, so they might pick up both objectives.
Kind Jungle might try and steal it potentially though. Shockwave onto him.
Oh, Shockwave comes out. And JC Prestige is in with the Cataclysm. Kind Jungle got a full Hanism, trying to follow it up onto King Georgie. The Godforge comes out, knocks up the front line. A really nice engagement there by Niles to rejoin the fight. Cosmic's Radiance falling, delaying the flight. Their Suit Up Right also gets expunged up, and Niles now has to run away. King Georgie as well, as the front line has dissipated.
And JC Prestige again showing, whoa, okay,
Niles as well, trying to look for the play, dodges out from the Arctic Assault. He's trying to run away and Kai out with the mana that he has available. Threaded Volley does so much damage in these sort of spread out team fights where you're unable to do it onto work ground. You get all of the 5 shots and massive damage coming out from Niles in that fight.
yeah, and JC Prestige started off that fight really nicely with the Cataclysm on the Kind Jungle. They do manage to pick up quite a few kills. Some kid starting to pump out the damage as well. Kind Jungle might find him here.
Kind Jungle has Smite here. Is whether the red stacks can stay, they'll fall off, and that'll be secured over to DNA. They're actually gonna get gifted. The Tristana's very far away.
Yeah, I think he's just resetting for the Tristana. The Taric ultimate to follow up that pick onto Kind Jungle as well is so nice because the Cosmic Radiance gives you that additional time where you can just fire into the enemy team and get all that additional damage. I'm getting flashbacks to both the previous game and last week as well. Niles trying so hard for his team to get advantages in these team fights, and he's putting out so much damage, but it's not turning into anything in the end. They start up the Rift Herald just like last game and end up losing it.
Yeah, that was a really nice seismic shot by him though, to ensure that JC Prestige and Hasm just stayed a little bit too long into that fight meant that they fell.
His Talia definitely does seem to be one of the anchors for his team whenever he's on it. If he can get to these side lanes and potentially get a little bit of an advantage, potentially for Suit Up Bro, maybe they can turn that matchup in his favor and they can start looking to pull the map apart and get to the later stages of the game. They do still have the advantage for King Georgie as well.
Yeah, having picked up that Runan's Hurricane means that he does have that double crit available to him. Baron has now spawned though, Vision getting set up for that very early with those Ren stacks, with that Blade of the Rune King picked up by some kid. That is a real threat. Also Mountain as well, so they could really accelerate that Baron take.
They're going to try and take the mid turret. Nice seismic shove onto some kid.
Some kid getting so low from that fight. And I'm also staying a little bit too long, as you do see the DPS coming out of King Georgie there onto the front line. So he's looking to come on, but gets flash and explosive cast, and King Georgie's there, gonna get shockwave, but that's not gonna matter. JC Pastries looking to pick up an exit kill here. Kind Jungle gonna get popped up by the Wild Growth. Now they're re-engaging. Niles is popping so many further volleys into the back end of this fight. King Georgie is going to get stunned up, also looking to fall, going to get picked up by JC Prestige as University of Virginia are seeming to get the damage down, but Niles picks up a threaded volley. That's going to secure a kill for Suit Up Bro. Now looking to get forward, double knockup, but that means JC Prestige is going to fall down to Niles. And Kind Jungle looking to reset the fight. That is a 2 for 2. That went all the way.
Yeah, 3 for 3 in the end there. If IR Timmy hadn't been caught out, that wouldn't have happened in that fashion. His shockwave completely misses. Some kid does manage to pick up the kill onto Kind Jungle as well, just dodging out on Niles' threaded volley as well.
Yeah, Niles had no mana. He could actually have looked to have gone on that. He had the red buff. He could have slowed Niles potentially for the kill there.
Well, IR Timmy might just go for it. Seismic Shove does keep him away though. And Niles on the backside of that fight. JC Prestige, again, he gets the Cosmic Radiance, he soaks up loads of damage in the front line, and then he gauges onto Lane and picks up the kill onto him. Meaning that
Lane's on the wrong side of the map right now. Flag and Drag not going to be available, going to get slowed up, but he'll survive.
Yeah, and they are actually starting up the Baron as well here.
The Ren stacks are coming in right now as University of Virginia are looking to take this objective.
Niles!
Bro coming with the ultimate, massive damage from Niles, gonna get shockwave as well. Timmy can't quite secure the kill as Wild Growth comes in. JC Prestige tries to follow that up on the backside of that. Baron has now been secured for University of Virginia. Bro the next to fall in the fight. That'll be a double kill over to IR Timmy as he's managed to survive the engagement. Massive damage by Niles in the early fight though.
Yeah, it was so clutch from him to try and get that, but in the end it doesn't really come to anything as they do secure that Baron. It means they can take the fight after that. Some kid just hopping through the enemy team like we've seen in previous games from him. He has completed that Runans now, so he's really hit his important item spikes. They are going to get this middle inhibitor now as well, and they can fall back to the dragon after this.
Yeah, which is spawning. That'll be an Ocean Drake. They've also got availability of that T1 tower in the bottom lane. Indocardive just looking to push the wave solo, a little bit of solo XP for that support, but the objectives are all going to be around the bottom side for the next couple of minutes for UVA.
And again, this is a first purchase Ardent Sensor on lane. I really don't agree with this for the Lulu. You already have the attack speed bonus from your Polymorph, so I can't see why you'd want to pick up the Ardent on top of that when it gives so little stats in the early game. Unless you can apply it to multiple members of the team, I don't think it is really useful with how much it's been nerfed.
Yeah, Suit Up Bro and Kind Jungle won't really be the recipients of the buff available to them with that Ardent Sensor.
King Georgie is trying to stave off some of this as well. He is still even in gold with Some Kid, but Some Kid has hit the important items that he'll need to carry this game. If we can keep seeing the fantastic Cosmic Radiances from Indocardive, I can't see how you stop him getting into the backline. Hanism!
Oh, the Glacial Prism's massive lane is in trouble, has to flash away. Hanism looking to go back onto Kind Jungle now. He's almost got the Purple Frost, he finds it. He needs backup and support though. UVA trying to charge forward, not able to find anything.
Yeah, and he does blow both the Flash and the Glacial Prison here. He looked to go for the big pick, but he had nobody around him to provide the damage to actually get the kill. He does get both the ultimates out of King Georgie and Lane though, as well as the Flash on the Lulu. So if they can get a Cataclysm on top of Lulu, they can potentially pick up that kill in the next fight.
Yeah, UVA are charging down the top side of the map as they smell blood with the tower. They're looking for the T2. They're setting it up. Some kids hit the important power spikes, as you said. Second zeal item available for him, but it's the Void Staff on IR Timmy. His shockwave is going to be massive as he can find that onto the back line.
And they've set up this bottom lane as well to be pushing. Suit Up Bro has to respond to it. He does have teleport, but they're already going to get the tier 2 and push in towards the inhibitor now.
Oh, Seismic Shove onto the front line, trying to get and weave in the damage with Nars there, but it's on the front line, so not going to be too impactful. The wave is still there and present. If some kid can get to it, he's not able to. Kind Jungle looking for that explosive cask. If they can get that onto some kid, that could be very impactful, but now the waves come in again. Explosive cask actually onto the front line. Cosmic Radiance gonna get prompted onto all 5 members as they look to secure the tower they have. Massive engagement coming through from Suit Up Bro. JP Swiss matches that with his own Cataclysm. He's winning the fight. Forward now. Flash away from JC Patrice, who's solo in the fight. Some kid untouched in this though. Now he's looking to go forward. Dodges out from the Seismic Shove.
Yeah, very nice from them. They do use that fight.
King Georgie looking for IR Timmy. Some kid flashes forward aggressively now. He's looking for the double kill. King Georgie is the next. Has to jump away.
They are going to pick up this inhibitor as well, which means that they have 2 now. They can just rotate towards the bottom lane after recalling, start picking up that final inhibitor, and they can probably end the game off of a push like that. Really nice fight from them. They do use the Taric ultimate to secure that turret, and it means that they can take the fight after as well. IR Timmy landing a huge shockwave onto Niles, which forces out his flash and means that he's not able to get into the fight in the same way that he has been able to previously, where he has that ability to outplay UVA and stay alive.
Yeah, some kid getting back again. He's got 2k gold available at his disposal. He'll finish up the Zeal item, probably for a Phantom Dancer. He does.
Yeah, and the Ardent Sensor is now finished on Ender Carnive as well. You can provide that to every member of your team with your AoE heals. IR Timmy will get the advantage out of that with the Orianna passive. One of the popular builds actually from Power of Evil is to go for a Nashor's Tooth, so the added attack speed will help him. IR Timmy might be caught.
Timmy actually gonna get stunned up, but there's no follow-up damage from Kind Jungle engagement. And it'll be booted down. Explosive Cask is gonna miss that. So does the Seismic Shove that probably would have comboed if the cask met.
I think he was predicting a flash out of IR Timmy, but he doesn't actually flash in the end, so he just bluffs it? I don't know. That was an interesting explosive cask in general.
Yeah, UVA in the ascendancy now. They're looking to push bottom. They've got inhibitors down in top and mid.
Yeah, the mid inhibitor is about to respawn. Shockwave onto Niles!
This is Fox Tree onto Niles. That's an absolutely explosion onto there. Cosmic Radiance trying to now tower dive into the backline. Some kid surging through. He's going to get knocked away from King Georgie with the Buster Shot. The knockups are here though, and they are in the fight. Suit Up Bro gonna be the second to last to fall. There's lanes in the base, and that'll probably be the game.
Yeah, Niles and King Georgie down. They don't have any wave clear now with just lane left. This should be the game for them and the series.
Yeah, this game a lot quicker than the first game. UVA finding their groove in the second game here, finding the picks, having that presence to just survive the early laning phase again from King Georgie and lane. And just providing the picks there onto Niles at the later stage of the game. This is such a pick fight orientated team. As soon as the carry falls, they could all just charge in with that Cosmic Radiance, really playing the team fights to a T.
Yeah, very nice game from them. It started off a bit shaky in the bottom lane. Huge advantage for King Georgie. I thought it was actually going to start to snowball in their favor, as you do have that later oriented carry with Tristana. But they managed to get repeated picks with JC Prestige and fantastic use of the ultimate from the Taric there. They managed to use that invulnerability super well, allowing some kid to jump through the enemy team and pick up kills. Very nice from University of Virginia, and a deserved win from them, and the take home on the series there.
Exactly. 2 over to University of Virginia over DNA right there. Massive damage coming out from the mid laner of IR Timmy, getting 30k available to him. So hefty shockwaves coming through, making the pick of Niles absolutely worth it at the end there, and really securing the victory for the team. Fantastic play by University of Virginia just to secure the victory. And I think in the standings that will maybe push them forward, as DNA were currently first in the standings. So the 2-0 loss will be to their detriment, and potentially UVA looking to storm into the later stages of our competition.
Actually, funnily enough, looking at the damage stats here as well, some kid only dealing 10,000 damage, Sejuani just about as much, 30,000, however, on IR Timmy. So landing those shockwaves onto the key members of the enemy team did secure it for them.
I really like the play. We seem a little bit lost here with the Ardent Sensor meta lane, unsure really what to build after that, trying to go for a Locket of the Ancillary, but not quite managing to do that. And the early pickup of the Spell Thieves not really paying off in their favor. They did have the early advantage in the lane, but at the later stages of the game, it just didn't prove to be worthwhile in the end.
And I think this is something that teams are going to have to look at going into future weeks. Ardent Sensor really isn't at that good an item anymore. You need to start looking at your support picks, potentially changing them up, or just changing up your item builds in general and getting rid of that in favor of something like an engage support or different items like the Redemption and Mikhail's, things like that, that'll support your ADC much better than with the stats that the Ardent Sensor can give.
JC Prestige also played a fantastic series, getting a solo kill in lane, was 5-0 at one point, really in the ascendancy in the early game, providing the fulcrum for his team to work around when King Georgine lane had priority when they rotated up to the top lane. JP Prestige matched that in the bottom lane against Super Pro, really trying to encourage that and teleporting into that fight in the early stages of the game up into the top lane really changed the sort of like format again of the way that we saw the game develop. We were looking for the snowball. They didn't decide to go for the rift. This is DNA. So they learned their lesson from the game one, but at the end of the day, University of Virginia reigning supreme.
Yeah, very nice from them. And that'll do it for us this week. University of Virginia picking up the win on the series 2-0 there. We will be back next week. I'm not 100% sure what teams we are casting. I believe we should be casting one of the Purdue games, though. Thank you very much for tuning in. It's been fantastic casting with you, Rooter. Do you have any final words?
Not really, just a pleasure to cast with you. Really exciting game. Shame we couldn't get to a game 2, but a fantastic performance by University of Virginia beating DNA 2-0.
Yeah, and I believe we do have to mention Plays TV. Thank you again for sponsoring us. I think there's an ad, but I don't actually have the video for it, so I will have to set that up for next week. Thank you again, everybody, for tuning in, and see you next time.